If you want the best coverage from the farm system to the front office, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast, now on the Dub Network. Here are your hosts, Jeff and John.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 97, and today, Travis Jankowski is going to join us from Cleveland, where the Rangers have just finished a sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays, and they've headed down to Cleveland. Hey, look, last week we said it was worse. The week before, I said it was bad.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've had bad injury. It looks like we've lost Scherzer for the year.
Yeah.
And this team played like they played the first of the year. The good at bats. They passed the torch. What do you call it? Pass the baton.
Pass the baton.
Look, we still don't know where this thing. They could slide at any moment doing that. But I tell you what, they're playing the kind of baseball we saw them play at the first year.
Yeah, you know, it's true. It's true when you get to September 1st and things look crappy. Even September 7th and things look bad, there's still time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a full month of games. You saw what happened to the Rangers in the course of 3 weeks. You saw what happened in the West. The Mariners got hot. The Rangers went ice cold. Everything got jumbled up and switched around from what it had been all season. But now we're kind of into, let's say, the next 3 weeks, or in the first week of the next 3 weeks, and everything's come up Rangers. You know, I mean, it really is. The series that they just finished
against Toronto, this was a good team.
It feels like it came out of nowhere. And it probably did. You know, the Rangers had won 2 games to end the homestand, beating the awful A's. But you're still like, all right, that's the A's. They should be beating the A's. This is Toronto. This is on the road where the Rangers have had some troubles. And gosh, it was top to bottom. Everybody on the team contributed. I mean, Jonathan Hernandez contributed.
They poured it on too.
Yeah, our guest tonight, Travis Jankowski, he contributed. It was everybody on the team, and you know, that's 6 straight wins.
Yeah,
at a very timely part of the year. They went from a game and a half back of Toronto for the 3rd wild card, and now they're a game up
of the Mariners.
Of the Mariners, who are 3rd. The Rangers now have the 2nd wild card.
They're 2.5 up on Toronto now.
They're a half game back
of the Astros
in the West. And really, I mean, you know, just the way the playoffs are structured now, the division winner gets the advantage. And if the Rangers can win the division and be one of the top 2 seeds, they'd get a bye. They wouldn't have to fart around with the wild card. If they are the wild card, well, depending on where they fall, if they're the 6, they play the 3, who would be the Twins. If they're the 5, they'd play the 4, which is going to be the Rays or the Orioles, and that's close too. So it's just, you know, honestly,
a lot of good baseball to watch right now.
Yeah, but in one week of a baseball season, so much can happen. The Rangers have changed dramatically. You know, they're standing in the position. They're standing in the standings. They're playing so well. They lost, or you know, their best starting pitcher, the savior from the trade deadline, but Josh Young's going to be back, and Adolis Garcia is going to come back. So I mean, a lot of things have come up Rangers here, and that's not to say it could change overnight.
Sure,
because it could, you know. But man,
so let's.
I wasn't expecting to have this conversation.
I wasn't either. I really was kind of praying for a split and maybe get 3 games out of Toronto is what you were hoping to keep yourself in it. That's kind of what you were thinking. Keep yourself in it. Get a split. Don't let them run away with it.
Yeah.
Keep a split and do it. They've won 6 straight games. That's amazing what they've done. They're going to probably run into some more things where they lose 2 out of 3 to somebody or lose series, and that's going to happen. Got to play Seattle. 7 out of the last 9 games?
7 out of the last 10, yeah.
Something like that. But let's touch on some things. So what's the rotation now? If you're going into playoffs now, your rotation starts with what? It's going to start with Eovaldi if he's healthy?
Eovaldi, yeah. You know,
Gray? No, Montgomery's been really well, too.
Yeah, Eovaldi, Montgomery, Gray would be the top 3. You can get away with 3 maybe for the division series. If you're going to have a 4th, that's where it kind of gets interesting. You know, do you want to... Well, yeah, I would say that Dane Dunning would probably be the 4th guy. They just, you know, the 3 lefties. Honestly, out of the 3 lefties, I think they probably have the most faith in Cody Bradford.
I've got about to say,
and
he was great last night.
Yeah, I mean he struck out the side in his first inning. I don't remember what he did. Anyway,
one guy,
but he does it with a 91 mile per hour fastball.
Yeah,
there's some deception in there. Obviously, there's command. He's long and lanky, so there's
the ball
some
moves
extension
too a little bit.
But it's just it's kind of refreshing to see. If you hit your spots and change speeds, you're gonna have success. And anyway, I would think though that because he pitched yesterday, I think that they're probably leaning Andrew Heaney for the start on Sunday.
Yeah,
there's an off day next Thursday that could alter things around
and reset it all.
I just think that
is there a chance Scherzer comes back for playoffs?
I mean, I think if they make a deep run, there's a chance they're going to evaluate him in 2 weeks.
This isn't anything surgery they're worried about.
No surgery.
It's just rest.
It's rest and recover, and maybe 2 weeks of rest, he can start throwing again, light catch. Maybe he can build up to a couple innings. But
you go with him if he says, you know what, I can give you 2 innings a night or whatever. That's a playoff roster guy.
Well, and he said to the reporters who were in Toronto, he said, I have no regrets about going back out for the 6th. I was feeling fine. I was doing fine. And this just happened.
Yeah.
Because we knew he had the forearm tightness, and there's been some second guessing, like, well, what if you shut him down? If you'd shut him down 2 weeks ago or a week ago, does this happen? Maybe, maybe not. But the doctors said there was no injury to the forearm. It was just, resting it, and
the MRI showed nothing more
than
no
structural. They didn't even take an image because they didn't think there was anything there. So
they took it on the
took it on the triceps. Yeah.
And what is it? It's a
teres major, which is apparently it's in the shoulder, no doubt, but it's like up where.
Is it a strain?
Everything. Yeah, they call it a strain, low grade strain, but it's where everything comes together. So up here is where the triceps starts, and the teres major is there, and the labrum's there. I think the lat is also here.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this little area. And so that's why they called it triceps soreness, because that's kind of where he thought it was. That's what he said.
He felt the tricep. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was actually something else. But regardless, it's an injury that
it takes
guys have.
And it takes rest to heal.
It takes rest to heal it. You don't need to have surgery. Jerkson Profar had it. There's also a teres. There's a teres major. I think there's a teres minor also. So anyway, you just need to rest. And if he can rest for 2 weeks and goes out and throws the ball and is like, hey, this feels great, then maybe they slowly build him up. Maybe if they make the championship series, maybe he can be available for 2 innings out of the bullpen. I don't think he can get built back up to be a starter, though.
I don't think so either. And why would you do that? Because you're going to have to go through the first part of the playoffs anyway without him. But if that's an arm that can come out in a crucial game and give you an inning, he wants to do that. He wants to help his team as long as he's not going to get injured.
Well, and the important thing is he doesn't have to have surgery. He's going to be ready for spring training next year.
Yep.
And he'll the great part of the deal was that he is available for next year too. I mean, he exercised his player option. The Mets picked up a ton of it, so you're getting Max Scherzer basically for $16 million next year, and that could be really, really good, especially since you don't have Jacob deGrom for most of the year. Right.
Yeah. Got to talk about Evan Carter, who's held his own.
Yeah,
he keeps getting on base. Walked twice last night.
Yeah.
And just looks good at the plate. Doesn't look overmatched. Right. It looks well, and I'm proud of him. We saw him that opening day, his first day there.
Yeah,
he was very excited. It was really neat to talk to him. It had a lot of family. We saw his family out down there afterwards. Yeah. But he's done well. Really, really looked good.
Yeah, I think the walks are indicative of the kind of guy that you have that you're dealing with. I mean, a lot of young guys might be up there trying to expand and trying to do something. But he hasn't done that. I mean, he takes his walks. He has a better eye, I think, than the umpires.
He did in a couple of them.
There was in a bat last night. I think he ended up grounding out. But
yep, I know what one you're talking about. That outside pitch.
There were four. After 4 pitches, the pitcher had thrown only 1 strike, and yet it was a 1-2 count.
Yeah,
and Carter was fighting to stay alive. So it is good to see, and it's not just he's throwing out runners from the outfield. He has gone first to third. He's super fast. He's stolen bases. I mean, he's looking like he's not
As advertised.
as advertised, but not overwhelmed by the situation that he's in. I mean, he'd never been to Toronto. He's never been to Cleveland.
Right.
This is all new to him. He's had some.
He's never traveled like this for baseball.
Yeah, he's probably had some late night bus rides, but they got it. The team got into Cleveland last night at about 2, and so I would think that there's some new stuff, but he's able to process it all, stay within his approach, and do good things. Walks are huge. And, walks help.
Walks as good as a single.
Help the team see pitches. It helps wear down the pitcher.
Yep.
I mean, and he's that's one of his calling cards is his ability to command the strike zone. And then when he does get a strike, he puts a good swing on it. He's hit his first home run. So it's all been very, very good. Now it's not. It's not Corey Seager good.
No.
but
well, let's be honest. There's not anyone in the American League that's Corey Seager good, except maybe everyone likes to talk about Ohtani, but
Ohtani's not as good a hitter as Corey Seager.
No, he's not. He's got more power than Corey Seager.
Yeah.
Hits the ball 800 feet when he connects and does put it good at bats, but Corey Seager, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Worth every penny and maybe more.
Well, just, he missed 40 games because of injury. 31 the first time, 9 the second time. He has 40 doubles.
Right.
He has as many doubles as games missed, which is a huge, for somebody who's missed 40, that's a big number. He's over 30 home runs. He's going to, his career high is 33 that he set last year. It looks like he's going to shoot past that. He's hitting 346, 347, 345, somewhere in there. He's going to win the batting title. It's just.
He might be in the home run chase if he had played those 40 games. I don't know that he would be up there with them, but he'd be close.
Yeah, and what Shohei Ohtani does is great. There's no doubt about it. With the pitching and the hitting, the home runs, and the most shocking thing to me about Ohtani is how fast he is.
Yes, he runs. He glides.
He can fly. But right now, Corey Seager is the best player in the American League. I mean, Ohtani is not pitching.
Right.
He's not. Is he even playing? I know he had the oblique deal. I don't know if he's come back from that. But
he was in the lineup, I believe, yesterday.
But if you take away the pitching aspect from Ohtani, which right now he's not pitching,
he's a DH.
He's a designated hitter. Doesn't play defense. Still a great hitter and an amazing threat at the plate. But my gosh, Corey Seager. And Seager's defense has been excellent this year.
Yes,
he may not make plays that other shortstops make, but he makes the plays that he's supposed to make.
Exactly.
And
he's had one error in like that one ball that he missed, and the runner kind of obstructed for a second, but still, Corey Seager doesn't miss those balls normally.
Yeah, he's
that was during the bad stretch, and he had that one blunder.
Right. And it was probably highlighted because he hadn't made one in so long.
It was.
Michael Young won a Gold Glove in 2008 at shortstop, and people did not think Michael Young was a very good shortstop. But if the ball was hit within Michael Young's range, he was going to make the play.
Exactly.
And if you're a manager, Ron Washington said this, they've all said this, make the play, get the outs you're supposed to get.
Exactly.
And that helps your pitcher so much when you're not giving extra outs. And Corey Seager, he did have a rough defensive year last year, but this year he's been really, really good. And it's been a really good all-around season great all-around season for him. But if he is not hurt, he might be leading the league in everything.
I know, and just the opposite of that can happen to a guy that has a lot of range, like Elvis used to have, where he would get to most balls, but sometimes people would think his defense was wrong, but he was getting to things that most shortstops don't get to, and it plays against you sometimes.
Sure.
But Corey's range is fine, but it's not elite. He doesn't get to every ball that some of these young guys do. But man, he is so smooth. It's fun to watch him when he gets a ground ball that he gets to. There's an out.
Yeah.
He just looks so smooth at how he throws. He throws on the run with these. He throws these, all of that. And it's just smooth to watch.
Yeah, and he's a big guy. He's 6'3".
He is big.
He's big, and he may end up eventually going to another position. But right now, when you look at the Rangers and wonder about their weaknesses, defense at shortstop's not one of them.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Nope. And I know people have talked about he's going to change positions at some point. That's not within the next year or so. I mean, he's where he is for now. Eventually, maybe he is a third baseman or slides over or something like that. But good Lord, he's doing his job.
Well, and what pushed Michael Young off of shortstop was Elvis Andrus. The Rangers felt they had a defensive upgrade and somebody who would help the team. With Acuna traded, I don't know, and JC traded.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a shortstop knocking on the door. I mean, Jonathan Ornelas is a great defensive player, but
he doesn't hit.
He doesn't hit like
maybe Walcott if he progresses.
Walcott is probably the one. I mean, Cam Cauley is another possibility. So, but
they're a ways off.
It's years away.
It's years away.
Nothing's imminent.
You're exactly right. And I could see Seager though. But think of Seager if Seager ended up like, let's say, a third baseman and Young moved over to first or something like that. He would be an elite third baseman because he's so smooth. I don't care if you can get to the ball. You've got to be able to do what he does. He is so smooth with the ball. It's crazy to watch. And you know what you cannot argue with. So like batting practice. Seager doesn't take batting practice with the team. Whatever he does, he goes and does his little video thing and gets back there. And there isn't anybody that can bitch about that because of what he's doing.
Yeah.
You stick with your program, dude.
Yeah, I think last year it might have been an issue because he did struggle. I mean, we got to keep in mind the banning the shift has helped him, no doubt. I don't know that it's helped him 90 points, but it's definitely helped him. But there were some times last year, his first year, players are trying to get used to him. He's trying to get used to them. He was doing his thing.
New city.
I mean, but I mean, I think that there was some players on the team, and there were definitely some in the media who were like, "Hey, what's going on with this guy? Is he part of this team?" He's part of the team. I mean, it's a new year. Everybody's used to what he does, so it is different. It's unusual. But Jonah Heim doesn't take a lot of batting practice either, and he just had a huge series. I think he drove an 8 against the Blue Jays. He had that grand slam. So whatever works for these guys is as long as they're accountable to their teammates inside the clubhouse, that's all that matters.
And you see both of them with their teammates in the clubhouse, and they're all friendly, none of that. It's not the guy that sits in the corner that's the superstar thinking, come over here and kiss my boots.
Yeah.
Now, he's in there messing with all of them. And so, anyway, this is fun. Guys, so much fun to be here in September than we were the last few years.
Yeah, I mean,
we were struggling to come up with stuff. Maybe they'll call up this kid, and we'll get to finally see Josh Young play in the major leagues. And that's all we were looking.
Well, look, the win last night clinched a winning season, the first one since 2016.
Absolutely. So, you brought that up.
So
on rangerstoday.com, where it's $5.99 a month, $35 for 6 months, $60 for the year. Got to be doing that.
Yeah.
It is just that this is the Texas Rangers coverage for Tarrant County.
Definitely for Tarrant County, but
we cover it more than we have.
If you like the farm system, we're your place. If you like Major League coverage, we're your place. So I mean, it's and it's cheap. We keep saying it every week. Just sign up.
And there are some other good people that cover stuff and cover minor leagues, but we have access to all of it. We can talk to all the minor leaguers, all the big leaguers, front office. We've got it all. And, so kudos to other guys out there too. But this is so cheap to get the good coverage that we get.
Yeah.
Absolute good coverage that we get.
Yep.
So anyway, anything else, or we want to get to Travis? Or
yeah, I mean, it's all good news. We don't have anything to wonder about and lick our wounds about.
Carter's done good. We've got some, for the first time ever, Rangers have somewhat little depth there at starting pitching. We've lost how many starting pitchers now gone down, and the guys that remain are still
quite a few. I mean,
the bullpen's always going to be an issue this year. You're just going to have to piece together.
But when your starter can go 6-7 innings, it makes a huge difference. So
makes a huge difference.
Anyway.
And some of these relief arms are starting to come in. The main thing was get the ball over the dadgum plate and attack the hitters. And when they have an 8-run lead, it's a little different too. You can attack the hitter because if you make the mistake and one run comes, it's easier. But anyway, fun things coming up. Cleveland starts tonight, and a lot of fun things going on there with this team. Guys, we're going to come back right after this with Travis Jankowski is going to join us from Cleveland.
Yeah,
be right after this. Today's guest segment is brought to you by the Frisco Rough Riders. Jeff, what's going on in Frisco?
Well, their season comes to an end this week. They're on the road, so they had their last home game on Sunday. But that doesn't mean that there's not stuff going on in Frisco. There's always stuff going on. You go to milb.com/Frisco/events. You want to have a private event there. They have eating spaces for businesses. they can have happy hours there. They have the lazy river, which probably gets a little cold in the off season. But the point of the fact of the matter is that if you want to do something for your business, your family, whatever it is, you need to look at Frisco. Go to, again, milb.com/Frisco/events. We can't thank Frisco enough for supporting the Ranger Today Baseball podcast this season as the title sponsor for the guest segment. And hopefully it's the start of things to come. So stay tuned and keep Frisco on your mind if you have an event.
All right, guys, and joining us right now from Cleveland, Ohio, where the Rangers just got in early this morning after a sweep of Toronto. It's Texas Rangers outfielder Travis Jankowski, who's become a big buddy, man. Travis and I are talking all the time. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing better than you. 3 a.m. That's a tough arrival time. Now, how bad was the customs? Because Toronto customs I hear even for teams is really bad.
It was inconvenient for us, but I've gone through customs not on a charter flight with the team, and it's much worse. So we need something to complain about. We could complain about it, but there's no serious complaints to be had there.
Yeah, the Rangers opened last season there. It was April 8th, I think, after the delay and everything. And I just went for the opener because Jack Leiter was making his debut the next night. And I had the 7 a.m. flight. I got to the airport at 4 a.m, and we were walking onto the plane as they were getting ready to pull the jet bridge back. I mean, it was unbelievable
what you had to go through to
how
get
bad
there.
it is there. And if I hadn't cut in line, I cut in line. If I hadn't cut in line, I wouldn't have made the flight.
You wouldn't have made it home. That's crazy.
Yeah, but again,
the charter flight helps for the teams.
Yeah, but I think they might have been a little extra angry at him last night for what they did to the Blue Jays. I mean, what's going on here? You guys don't play very well, and then bam, that's baseball. Is that it?
You know, I think we got the right group of guys in that clubhouse that know how to come out of a little bit of a skid. You know, nobody likes going through that tough skid we had, but at the same time, it's not like there's panic in the clubhouse. You know, there's eagerness to get out of it. There's anticipation. Hey, let's pick it up. You know, these games are meaningful. But like I said, there's enough veterans, and with Bochy being the leader, we know that that's kind of part of the game. One of those things that, if anything, it may have brought us a little bit closer. You know, we weren't pointing the finger at, hey, it's your fault. Hey, it's the catcher's fault. Hey, it's hitters who aren't hitting. It's the pitchers who aren't pitching well. It was a collective effort. We just stunk there for a little bit. So pulled us closer together, and we got to go into a little bit of a hostile environment, playoff vibe up there in Toronto, and get a pretty big sweep for us. So I think good things are coming.
I used to go to Toronto every trip. I used to not want to miss it, and then I got scared of racking up a huge cell bill and whatnot. Anyway, I don't go to Toronto very often, but I've never heard their fans boo their own players. I mean, that speaks to how dominant you guys were, but man, you guys.
I was about to say that was pretty.
You guys upset Canada. They weren't very happy.
Maybe that's why customs took longer.
Yeah, exactly. No, because we were there in 2015 when Jose Bautista hit the big home run and flipped the bat and made everybody mad, and then the next year Odor had hit Bautista and they ended up in the playoffs there, and I mean it was rough.
Yeah,
like my Twitter feed, they were calling me making fun of Texas for being fat and George Bush and all this stuff that had nothing to do with baseball. They were vicious. So
Canadian, we're pretty polite people too. So I don't know. I guess it was just I guess they had enough of it.
So how would you describe your season? I don't know if you want to call it a bounce back season, a comeback season, but it's been pretty good. Been a pretty big part of this.
Yeah, to me, you can call it a bounce back, you can call it a comeback, you can call it a surprise. To me, I call it a healthy season. If you look back, at numbers when I can get consistent playing time and actually stay on the field and not have a broken bone or something like that. Typically, my numbers are where they need to be at the end of the season. So I know that, some people say, oh, it's a huge surprise. It's not a complete surprise for me. That being said, I'm very excited with how my season's going. But it's when I can stay on the field and contribute and, get 200 plus at bats, my numbers are pretty consistent as to where they're going to be. So, yeah, it's been a good year. I'm happy with how it's going, and 3 weeks left and then playoffs. So we're going to finish even stronger.
How was it? Last year you were like, you were hurt. You went to a couple different ball clubs. How nice is it to be in one place the whole season, which you've done in your career, obviously?
Incredible. The sense of security, and it's even just for 1 year, knowing, hey, you're here, you're going to be a part of something special. That sense of security is really all you can ask for as a ball player. It's not fun for myself bouncing around teams, especially in season. But it's kind of a lot harder on my family. I get to take, the charter flights. I get to fly first class. I get to, have someone pick me up. My wife has 4 kids under 5 years old, and she's got to go through it with some unruly kids on a plane. So it's a lot harder for her. And then the kids have to readjust to, making new friends. My wife has to make new friends. So it's all around kind of a pain in the butt when that happens, but it's part of the game, and it's kind of what we signed up for at the same time. So you take it with a grain of salt and just keep pushing on.
How is the wife doing? You're
a new one.
You got a new baby, and
she is fantastic. She was built to, she's back in Texas right now, has all 4 of them, potty training 2 of them. So it's on top of it.
Let me tell you what, once this playoff runs over, she's going to put you to work.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we're taking a vacation. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but you guys had the baby in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of a whirlwind because you were all the way on the West Coast.
Yep. So
how did that go?
We, I told my wife, like, she had actual control of it. I said, geez, if you could just make sure I'm not on the West Coast and have to fly hours, that would be awesome. But as God would have it, it's one of those things that, we had an off day after the Oakland series. It was looking like that would be a good time to induce. The due date was just 1 day later. So, flew back from Oakland after the day game, had the off day at home. Baby came that day, and then I got the 3 days of paternity leave, and thank goodness didn't have to fly all the way back to San Francisco for that day game.
Oh my gosh.
Coach and CY had some pretty good feel saying, hey, why don't you just meet us back in Texas? So a little bit of a shorter flight from Pennsylvania to Texas, but still a little 3-hour piece right there.
Yeah. So what, west of Pennsylvania, is that right? Where you
Lancaster.
live? Well, that's where he's born.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're west of Pennsylvania, or of Philadelphia?
Yes, a little bit west of Philadelphia and Lancaster. Still up and down, right where the Amish are.
Hey, I've been I knew Amish were there. I've actually dealt with Amish in the old business I used to be in, and they're fun. They're you can get some funny stories dealing with them out there. You have the little signs for buggies that go around, and I was in Cleveland when I had to sell, because they have to. The law requires that their buggies have to have blinkers on them and lights, because they were getting hit at night by cars.
Yeah.
It was a safety issue, because, they don't like to use any electricity. So I was selling batteries back then, and we were talking to it was pretty interesting. It is a different thing. They are content with their life, and very generous and nice people, and just very content with not having our luxuries that we love to be on.
Well,
yeah, nice people in the world, hardest working people in the world. And like you said, the most content, just down to earth people. They just want to work and go home and sleep and wake up and work again.
Have you ever had a buggy encounter?
Oh, plenty. We have one go past our house like every 15 minutes in the off season.
At least you can hear them coming, right?
Yeah. 100%. And that's the thing, sitting, and when our oldest was little, he would hear the click clack of the horse walk on, the street. So he, learned how to go with his tongue. So whenever he'd hear a horse for like a year straight, he would just do the, click clack. We would all run to the window and watch it. So there's some nice moments made with Amish buggies.
That's awesome.
Oh, you go to their Walmart, they'll have a place out on the outskirts of the parking lot where they can park the buggies. They do shop. I mean, people act like they just make all of they shop. They work in town. They work at places. It's not that, but it's pretty neat. I remember parking in a grocery store, and there were like 4 buggies parked at the back of the grocery store there, and I'm like, yeah, this is different.
Yep.
It's like Arizona for spring training, all the golf carts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to baseball. We get distracted here at the podcast, but you got 3 weeks to go, even less than 3 weeks. How do you take in these last 3 weeks?
It's sprint, right? It's one of those things that it's not, hey, wait for the playoffs to win. No, we need to win now. These are the playoffs. We're playing playoff games right now. And no matter the opponent, it doesn't matter who's on the other side. That's a major league team who's one of, they're constructed with one of the best players in the world, so it's not, oh, we got an easy series this week. No, we're playing playoff series from here until November 4th when we're done. So you go in there with that mentality. Every game matters. Stats, take them and throw them out the window. I don't care if you go 0 for the next 75. I don't care if the starter gives up 7 runs in the, 3rd inning. We win the game. We're happy and we're celebrating, so it's, that's the mentality you have.
Is it, how stressful is it? Or maybe not stressful, but intense?
Probably the most intense baseball I've played.
Yeah.
It to me, it kind of takes you back to a college feel, and it's one of those things in college. You don't play 162 games, you play 50, so you win as many games as possible. Right. And late in the season, winning games is more important. You get to regional, super regional, college World Series. Like I said, you throw stats out the window. It's win. That's all that matters. And that's where we're at.
If
no other way to put that.
if you had asked 100 Rangers fans in spring training, would you take being in contention on September 1st, whether they were, where you guys were just out of the wild card or 100 would have taken it. I know they're an eager fan base. The win last night gives the Rangers their first winning season since 2016, and maybe you guys ratcheted up the expectations with how well you were playing. But this is a hungry fan base, and I think that they're pretty darn ready for you guys to finish things off. And
could be fun homestand once everything gets rolling.
Yeah, that Seattle series next week could be good. But you can't, like you said, you can't look ahead.
Nope. That's all we care about. But yeah, and as to what you said about the fan base, right? Like that's kind of a compliment to us, as to where I don't want to say they weren't satisfied with where we were at, September 1st and going through a little bit of a skid there. But we exceeded their expectations because we can all, kind of be flat out honest and say, like you said, if you'd ask us back in February, hey, you're in contention September 1st, everyone is thrilled,
Yeah.
And they weren't, it was one of those things where they got greedy. We made them greedy with, the team that we are, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no hostility towards that. We'll take a little bit of bad mouthing to go out and, get it put together and give them something to watch.
Yeah. Before we move on, how amazing is Corey Seager right now?
Guys, generational talent mixed with a great work ethic. There's really no words to describe what he's doing. You get frustrated as another player because it's like it's not that easy. Like, but yeah, and it's one of those things. Like, you guys know him; he's down to earth. Doesn't like talking about himself in the least bit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he can't stand it.
Unbelievable.
He'll talk about Travis Jankowski with grin on his face over talking about himself and what he's doing right now.
100%. It's just the type of person he is, how he was raised. Like, what he is doing couldn't happen to a better person, and I could not be happier to to have played with him in the Rangers uniform and see what he does behind the scenes. It's nothing short of incredible at the season he's having.
It's I always equate it. I've covered the team since 2008. In 2010, Josh Hamilton was very, very, very similar. They're aggressive at the plate. I think Hamilton hit 359. He missed the last month with a bruised rib or a broken rib, but 32 homers, 100 RBIs, won the MVP. That's kind of what I equated to. And I think I saw last night that Seager's the first guy since Hamilton to have 30 homers and 40 doubles in a season, first Rangers player. So, and Seager's missed 40.
One of each last night.
Seager's missed 40 games. So, I mean, it's a sight to behold. You just don't see it very often. So, all right. Anyway, our show, I asked the baseball questions. John asked the
fun ones,
the funner / baseball questions.
Yeah, we're gonna get to know Travis. I know him a little bit. Travis and I talk a lot about the baby and all the kids he's got, and he's done some adoption. And Kat and I looked into adoption one time. Okay. We had a good conversation about that. It was a lot of fun. Okay, you grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You went to Lancaster Catholic High School. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Did you play any other sports besides baseball?
I played football for all 4 years, and then basketball for freshman, sophomore, and junior.
Okay, what did you play in football?
Football, wide receiver, and defensive back.
No kidding. I was a wide receiver.
Well,
he was obviously a better athlete than I was.
Pennsylvania is like the cradle of quarterbacks.
That's true.
How
many touchdowns did you score?
My senior year, I scored 21.
All right.
That was a lot more than me. We had an all-state running back who ended up playing in the NFL. So I was I called and he can appreciate what I'm about to say. I called myself a split guard. I did a lot of blocking downfield is what I did.
Sounds like he was not a split guard.
No, he wasn't. But what I'm saying is he can understand when you're not throwing a lot, your other job is to go downfield and block a lot. And that's what I did.
Yep. Better find someone to get your hands on.
Absolutely. Okay, so you were taken in the first round, 44th overall by the Padres coming out of college. Do you remember where you nowadays the draft's such a huge thing where everybody goes to New York or wherever it's going to be. Where were you at? How'd you find out you've been drafted?
So I was actually down at the University of Miami. We had just won the regional there, and I was in the parking lot about to get on the bus to go back to the hotel with all my teammates. And so quick story. So this is, regional last game. We're playing UCF. Draft is going on while I'm playing. And the scoreboard keeper decides to put the draft up every half inning as to who's being taken.
Oh, man.
So I called my agent in the morning. I said, hey, I don't need to know anything. I just need to know, is it going to happen today? He said, yep. I said, perfect. Locked in on the game. Let's go. That's all I need to know. So, we're playing the game. We end up winning the game. I think they were picked 35. And that year, I want to say there were 55 in the first round with all the competitive balance and all that.
Right.
So I'm celebrating. I'm happy as can be, jumping on the field, dog pile on the field. First regional that we've ever won for Stony Brook. As soon as we clear the dog pile, we're like, hey, what are you thinking? Go grab your phone. I'm like, I don't want my phone. I want to celebrate. I don't need to know. My agent said it's cool. So then my coach comes up. He's like, hey, you probably should go get your phone. Not to be selfish, but go get it, just because if you miss a call, I don't know what happens, and it's
yeah.
So I get my phone, call my agent. He says, hey, hold on. I'm on the phone with the team. Call you back in 2 minutes. He calls me back, says, hey, stay by your phone. Something's about to happen. Padres call me with the 44th pick. I'm on the phone. I don't have it on speakerphone, but the guys are all around me. I hang up. I say, hey, guys, I got drafted, and everyone goes nuts. So it's a mosh.
Awesome.
Hey, was Patrick Cantwell on that team?
He was. He sure was.
Rangers bullpen catcher. He was their 4th round pick, I think. Either that year or the next year.
I think 3rd that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patty won't say it, but he was a captain of that team, man. He kept us all in line. He ran a tight ship. He was a big reason of why we made that run we did.
It tells him what a small world baseball is.
No kidding.
Here you are ending up with a guy whose career it didn't pan out, but it was obviously the
Still
the
in the
Rangers,
game.
The Rangers have loved him ever since they drafted him.
Yeah.
Yep. He's still here. He's helping out. I mean, but that's the baseball thing. I mean, I did look this up beforehand. This is your sixth team, but you've played with Austin Hedges, Brad Miller, Jacob DeGrom, Max Scherzer, Patrick Cantwell, Spencer Howard, who's on the team, Ian Kennedy, and Will Venable. Did you ever play Venable, or did he get traded before you got called up?
Gosh, so Will got traded, and I got called up for
to take
Will.
his spot.
Yeah,
and he got traded to the Rangers.
Well, we're going to ask that question in just a second because we got to go back to Stony Brook because that's where you ended up going to college, and that's in New York, right?
Correct. Yep, Long Island.
So let me ask you this. I always want to know this. So you ended up going to Stony Brook. Were there any other offers? Did you have any other colleges you considered?
Not for baseball. No, I had.
Did you have some football?
I had a few football scholarships. Yeah, I had a ton more football scholarships than baseball. And it was actually my high school baseball coach because I was, thinking, okay, I'm going to go play football. And my high school football coach sat me down. He said, the best offer I had was to go to UConn. And they said, hey, he goes, how much do you weigh? I said, about 165, 170 pounds. He goes, you know how much a Division I linebacker weighs? I said, I don't know. He goes, 250. He goes, how many hits do you can take? I said, well, at least one. I said, I don't really. He goes, if you want to be a professional athlete, stick with baseball. And I didn't want to hear it at the time. I was like, I don't know, football, like the adrenaline rush on a Friday night in high school is great. I can't imagine Saturday. And I kind of slept on it, prayed about it, and it was best decision I ever made to stick with baseball.
Yeah, I think it's worked out.
Oh, yeah, I think it did. In Stony Brook, didn't y'all end up going to the College World Series?
Yes, we did. Yep, in 2012. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
It was Joe Nathan went to Stony Brook too, and he was the Rangers closer that year. So I remember very specifically talking to him about.
Oh yeah, because he was watching it. Yeah, he was glued in when they were playing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're traded from the Reds to the Padres. I remember that this is always. I love to ask these next couple. So how did you find out you'd been trading? It's actually during the off season, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yep. So I was actually on the golf course with a buddy, and got a call. And it was from the assistant GM. And I'm like, oh, boy, I better take this one. Like, eesh, never good.
Yeah.
So he calls me, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, Josh? He said, hey, great news. I'm like, oh. He's like, you're traded. I was like, okay, yes, great. Okay. Told me I was going to Cincinnati, closer to home. What Cincinnati was building that year, with Bauer, Sonny Gray, you could see that they were going in the right direction. So that was incredible. Great organization in Cincinnati, but the COVID year kind of those great plans. So
let me ask you this: Did you ever run across a comedian from there named Josh Sneed when you were with Cincinnati?
Josh Sneed, I don't think so.
He's a buddy of ours that we met at spring training. Huge Reds fan, kind of is in with the press there and a few of the players. Okay. So he's going to be fired up when he finds out Jankowski was on. He knows every old Reds player, but he's a pretty funny guy. Really fun, and you know what? A clean comedian, which I love comedy all around. But when you're clean and funny, that's impressive to me. So I'll link him out and get it to you. You can see him sometime. He's pretty funny. All right, your big league debut. Now this is really one I'd love because I wish that one day I would have had this, but August 21st, 2015, you make your big league debut. How do you find out you're going to the big leagues?
So I was playing in Nashville, AAA in Nashville on the road. And our manager was Jamie Quirk, one of the greatest baseball guys I've ever played for. Awesome dude. And I'm on the on-deck circle about to lead off the game. And, Quirky's like, his biggest things was, if you play hard, I will have no issues with you. So I'm on the on-deck circle. He comes, he goes, hey, Janko, he goes, can't let you hit. And I look back, I said, Quirky, what are you talking about? He goes, come on, you can't hit. I said, what? Like, dude, this guy is about to throw down to second base. Like, I'm hitting. He goes, no, he goes, come here. He said, you're getting called up. Can't let you hit. I said, what? He goes, we got a flight tomorrow morning. He goes, you're meeting the team in San Diego. You're going up. Nice. I gave him a hug. I gave the guys hugs, ran to the locker room, packed my stuff. And gosh, I don't think I slept a wink that night. I was so excited. So it was a really cool moment.
call your wife, I'm assuming, right away and tell her the
Absolutely.
great news.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to end it with a couple of good ones. First of all, I'm just talking about food. What kind of food is your favorite food that you like to eat?
If I could pick one food the rest of my life, it would be sushi. But you give me a good steak, I'm going to crush it. You give me a good breaded chicken sandwich. I mean, I can go full 5-year-old and go chicken fingers and fries.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, not at all. All right, now let me ask you this. So that brings this up. So if you're, you've got 4 kids, you guys are running around. If you've got to go fast food, what's your favorite? What's something that you like to go eat if you're going to have to go run through a drive-through?
I am praying the kids want Chick-fil-A because that's my go-to all the time. Chick-fil-A, and I'll give them the nuggets. I'll eat the sandwich. They can have my fries if I get their shake. It's just
it's a good little system you got there.
That's it.
So have you had the new sandwich with the pimento cheese?
I have not, but I've heard good things.
It's pretty good. You got it. You should give it a shot.
I've heard about it too.
I
like pimento cheese.
Last week.
Okay. All right. So 2 more. Last one is your favorite home cooked meal, and who cooks it? Does wife cook it? Mom cook it? Grandma? What's your favorite home cooked meal, and who puts it together?
Wow, man, putting me on the spot. Favorite cooked meal, I would say I'll go out, I'll grill the steaks. My wife will make the twice baked potatoes with the crisp Brussels sprouts.
Oh.
That is
the crisp Brussels sprouts. Oh gosh,
that's solid.
Yes.
I'm a steak guy. That's my favorite go-to all the time too. That's probably mine too.
I don't know what I'd go with. We always ask them, but I never know the
answer. Home cooked. What's your favorite home cooked?
My wife's pizza.
Okay, your wife's
phenomenal.
Pizza.
It's phenomenal.
Okay, my wife can cook a great recipe. She doesn't like just throw stuff together. She's a recipe girl to do it, but she likes my steaks. But boy, she can throw together something on the side.
My wife's pizza's out of the world.
All right, last one. This is a fun one we like to ask. It's what's something that nobody knows about Travis Jankowski. Some of the fun ones we've had before is John Daniel had airplane underwear, the old GM. It was really weird. He had 2 pair of underwear he wore on flights. There, he said, "Hey, I'm still here. It's always worked."
Brock Burke.
Yeah, he sleepwalks. Did you know that?
Oh, terrifying. Yes.
Any story there, or you just heard about it?
No, I've just heard that he can't, I think he has to get special rooms at the hotel because he's a sleepwalker. So they try and keep him on the first floor. Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was sleepwalking. That freaks me out. When he said that, I was like, okay, Brock, we might have to keep our distance. That's
you ought to hear some of the stories from players that have roomed with him in minor leagues. You room with guys, and they would talk about in the middle of the night, he would start punching out the pillows. And then, and then all of a sudden he would just go to the bathroom and go, "Oh, we got to go to the bathroom." And then he'd go back to bed. I mean, I forget the one kid.
That's the one where he went to the bathroom and
did the toilet paper and rolled down
unrolled all the toilet paper. And it was Joe Palumbo. And then the next morning, Joe Palumbo was like, "Hey, Brock, you in the middle of the night, you went to the bathroom and undid the whole roll." And he's like, "No, I didn't." And then he went in there and the toilet paper was like, somebody TP'd the damn bathroom.
So what's something that nobody knows about Travis Jankowski?
Sheesh, guys, mine's going to be terrible. No.
Don't worry. They're all good.
I would say something that people don't know about me is that in college, I was studying to be a physical therapist. But it was way too hard, so that I ended up just being a health science major and wanted to be a radiological technician because I heard they just press a button. That was it. I didn't even graduate, so I don't know. I guess that's interesting, but it's no sleepwalking story, and I don't have plain underwear. So
darn it.
Well, your general manager Chris Young is a true crime documentary buff, so that's his go-to when he likes to watch true crime stuff.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a bunch of fun ones.
Yeah, there are a lot of ones. Some like the guy we had on last week, Aiden Curry, who's a minor league pitcher. Last off season, he was a drunk driver hit him.
None of us knew about it. Yeah, and he
walked away from
it without a scratch.
But the other guy was
thinking
all messed
about
up
it.
in the face, but
That's a
I
God
might-
thing right there. That's a God thing.
One thing. So,
Well, man, listen, Travis, we know how busy you guys' schedule are. It's why we usually like to get a big leaguer when they're on the road, because especially if you were home with 4 kids, mama might be
ain't
like,
happening.
yeah, you don't need to go sit on the computer for 30 minutes talking about what you did in college.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate it. Good luck tonight in Cleveland. We'll see you back here next week. We'll be out there, and obviously we'll come up and say hi, and we'll link it out to you or something. You on Twitter or any of those?
yeah, I mean, I'm on it. I hardly ever actually use it, but you can send me a link, and it'll find me somehow.
All
Okay.
right. Real good.
We'll do it. That's Travis Jankowski, outfielder for the Texas Rangers. Travis, good luck in Cleveland. We'll see you back next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Hey, we're going down in the bus leagues right after this. All right, a big thanks to Travis Jankowski for taking time out of his busy day there in Cleveland.
Yeah, that late night, that late flight, but at least it was a winning flight, happy flight, and
Yeah, those are always more fun.
sure.
Got to go down in the bus leagues.
yeah,
This is kind of it for the regular season. It's all ending up now.
we're getting there. Yeah,
So let's go. And you know how we could do it, guys. We're going to start at the bottom and head up. There's no more Arizona Complex League, no more Dominican Summer League. So
yeah.
we'll go down to Down East, which is low A. They're 29-37, 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 3. A lot of their guys keep getting moved up a little bit, but they are a playoff team.
Yeah, they've started the playoffs.
Is Carolina the playoffs? Is that who they're playing?
The Mudcats?
Okay.
And anyway, they've split the first 2 games. Game 3 is tonight in Down East. So Brock Porter pitched the first game. Pitched pretty darn well. They ended up winning that. They lost in extra innings last night, Thursday night. So yeah, it's a nail biter, but they have a chance to extend their season tonight.
Okay. And so we got them there and nobody really there. I mean, we heard Brock Porter, that name. Walcott is in Hickory.
Right.
So he's not even, and Hickory speaking of Hickory, 43-21, 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah, well, their season's over. They went to the playoffs and got eliminated. They lost 2 straight to end their season. But yeah, you look at that team and all the talent that's gone through there this year. I mean, they had they finished with Walcott, but they had Wyatt Langford at one point. They had Kumar Rocker at one point to start the year before he was injured.
Right.
Dane Acker started there, and they have Abby Ortiz, who I'm guessing is going to be the Rangers minor league player of the year. And
34 or 5 home runs.
a bunch of home runs.
Yes,
and
well over 30.
So it was a good group. They played well in the second half. They weren't so good in the first half. They played real well in the second half, and you expect to see a lot of those guys. Maybe not Cam Cauley, maybe not the guys who got there later in the year, but I would definitely expect that Max Acosta and Abby Ortiz, Cody Freeman, the pitchers. Corniel was the started at Down East, and he ended up being the Rangers minor league pitcher of the month for August. So there are going to be some guys that for sure in that group at Hickory this year that'll graduate to Frisco next year.
Yeah. And actually, Cauley did well at Hickory.
He did.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
He's 20, 21 years old.
He was 18 in 2021 when he was drafted. So he's a youngin', but he should be at Frisco at some point next year.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll start there, but he's definitely someone whose trajectory has gone up since his first pro year, getting used to it.
Well, and it's gone up because Acuna and JC were traded. He has a few less obstacles in his way, but he can also play second, so he's a pretty versatile guy.
But his bat has come along, and he's come along, and he's developed a little more power to do that. Which you don't have to be huge to do that, but he's not a small guy, but he's smaller.
But he's definitely defense and speed.
That's absolutely. Frisco 32-34, 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 1. they're playing in Amarillo now to
yeah.
end the season. They're not
Right.
going to go to the playoffs.
They are not.
So we have to ask this because Wyatt Langford has killed the ball in the 8 games he's been there. He's already had 3 home runs. Do you think they move him up to AAA to play in the playoffs?
No, I don't. I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things, but I think he's done enough this year.
He is not coming to the big leagues.
Yeah, he's.
And if I'm wrong, I will eat those words.
And he's had a busy year. When you're in college, you play fall ball in October, then you get the winter off, then you start in January. Your games start in February. They went all the way to the end of June
because the College World Series.
Then he had a 2-week scramble to get ready for the draft. He gets drafted, gets signed, goes. He's been on the move, you know. And I mean, obviously, he's done great. He's been playing good defense. He's been hitting the ball like crazy, and it's all incredibly encouraging. I don't know that sending him to AAA accomplishes a lot. Now, maybe it does, but maybe just get him around a winning environment. Maybe. I'm sure he would not object at all because he's seems like the kind of guy that will just work until you tell him to not work anymore.
Right.
But they may also want to get him to Arizona where instructs are taking place. Maybe get him, once over for the off season, get him set into his off season program.
Sure.
And do that too. But all signs are very encouraging with Wyatt Langford.
There's a reason he was some people thought he might be the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Look, those guys at the top have all done well. Skeens got shut down.
Right.
But this is a guy that pitched all the way to the College World Series also, and that's an arm, and you're going to protect that.
Yeah. He got over 100 innings. He throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And then Cruz is Dylan Cruz is he still playing? I think I haven't even checked. But those guys were elite class up there at the top, and then the kids that were drafted, the high school kids. But boy, the Rangers got lucky that Wyatt fell to them, and man, luck happened with that in the fact that they were supposed to pick 10th and ended up getting 7th to 10. They got 4th. Overall in that lottery that they're doing now, which they will not be in this year. So pretty fortunate there, but boy, he just rakes at every level.
Yeah.
And I have no issue with what they do to him. If they move him to AAA to do the playoffs, I think that's great. If they say, you know what, you've done enough. Let's get you to an off season. You got a wedding coming up.
That's right.
You get married. Go be with the family. Here's what I want you to eat and do, and here's the workouts you want to do. I have no problem with that. That is a guy who legitimately has a chance to play in the big leagues next year. He will not start in the big leagues. I don't care what anyone thinks. They're going to make an off-season move for outfield, I think. And then that guy is going to be the guy that just forces it. He's going to force the door open.
Sure.
And that's the guy you want. Evan Carter was semi-forcing the door open, but an injury opened the door. And you know what? He's taken full advantage of the injury.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
This is a guy that
you're right. I mean, I can't argue with any of that. I think that what they're the Rangers they don't necessarily need to go get an outfielder if they think that Evan Carter can be an outfielder, and Tavares has played well here in the last couple of weeks.
They need a bat. So maybe a DH type bat. That's Garver maybe, but I could see him go get a guy that could be a left fielder and do that.
I suppose. Yeah,
we got all off season to talk about this. We're going to have a lot of fun with it.
We aren't there yet. Another thing in Frisco is Jack Leiter, who pitched well again. I think he's going to get one more start this weekend, and then there's the Arizona Fall League rosters are supposed to be out this week. There's some possibility that he pitches in the Fall League to get his stuff together, or not his stuff together, but to continue working on what's working now.
Right.
And he might have been some innings shy because he did get a month off, so maybe you don't have to pitch the whole season. You can go there and pitch 15 innings, and if you feel good about it, you feel good about it.
Right.
So I think that's a storyline that we need to follow for sure here in the next couple of days. What happens with Jack Leiter?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, he's looked a lot better after he's come off of this thing, so that's really good. I'm assuming next year he probably starts in AAA. I think he probably gets the bump, but it's time to do that, and hopefully works his way into depth that they need, the depth they need at starting pitching that we've seen. You've got to develop your own pitching and have those guys ready to go for the offseason. We go to Round Rock. They're 38-28. They're 3-7 their last, and they've lost 3. They are going to the playoffs. They're 2 games up right now.
They're in a dogfight with Las Vegas, I think, who they're playing.
And they're 2 games up on them right now.
Okay,
but they still have some left.
Well, they lost 2 yesterday, and anyway, it's going to be a nail biter for them. But
they're playing for their playoff laps right now.
That's right. There you go. And they've got we've said all the names before, and Owen White's pitched a little better. He's still walked more guys than he struck out, but that's okay with that ABS that we got into last week, and they're doing it with their offense as they have really all season. And you want to, JP Martinez got sent down, went out and hit 2 home runs in his first game back.
Right.
So he's not skipping a beat, and you see all the names that we've talked about all year with Foscue and Wenzel and Elia Hernandez and our buddy Blaine Krim. So
this offseason is going to be really interesting because there's some guys on that 40-man roster you don't necessarily want to lose, which means you may want to look to move them because you've got to open up some spots for like Foscue, who you can't lose. Because it's time for him to go onto the 40. It's going to be an interesting offseason.
Yeah, Wenzel and Krim are also can do that. And I don't think they're quite to minor league free agency yet, but
they're close.
You're getting to that point where these guys are going to be able to
be taken in a Rule 5 or something.
Get taken in the Rule 5 or just leave the organization on their own free will.
Absolutely, so, those guys are there.
Yeah, one thing we did skip on the Arizona Complex League or Hickory. Baseball America did its top prospects of the Arizona Complex League, and Sebastian Walcott was the top prospect. So, cool. 17, and they noted that he struck out a lot, but he's 17.
He's 17 years old.
Yeah, of course he's going to strike.
He's going up there swinging from his heels, man. He is.
So anyway, but
he's hitting balls at 17, 440 feet.
I mean that's pretty good indication that the Rangers might have something with him.
Absolutely. They still have a loaded system to make some moves, but this offseason is going to be intriguing. Starting pitching is now becoming something they're probably got to look at. We got a lot of stuff to go over on that. Minor league teams are all going to the playoffs, or a couple of them are going to the playoffs. Some of them are out. So Down East is now out of it. Their season's over.
No, Down East is playing tonight and could.
Hickory's out. Okay, so Hickory's gone. Frisco's out. The Round Rock's playing for their lives to stay in it, which is fun. But a lot of fun there, guys. A lot of good baseball in this entire organization from the top all the way down.
Yeah.
And it's just been fun. We're the ones that cover it for you. $5.99 a month, $35 a year for 6 months, and $60 for a year. Rangers Today. Hey, hit the subscribe button down there. We need you to hit that subscribe button. The YouTube channel is doing fantastic. A lot of good things there. Thanks to the Dub Network. Also, I think this is it for this one.
Yeah, episode 97, all in the books here.
100 is coming up. We got to figure out what we're going to do for that 100th
I still
episode.
don't know. Yeah, we got to get on that one.
Maybe we need to go on the road. I don't know. We'll figure it out, guys. For all of you who've been a part of it, big thanks to Travis Jankowski for stopping down. Those big leaguers have a busy schedule to do that for us. Till next week, see you at the yard.